Hello, this is your favorite tail wagging zombie Poo Noop, and this is my top DS list, top 10 games for the Nintendo DS, the one before the 3DS, the DS, the DS Lite, the DSi, and the DSi XL. All of these games work with any of these systems, except that the DSi enhanced games have region lock. But yeah, the DS I consider one of the best consoles I've ever had. I think personally for me, the PS2 is probably number 1A and the DS is a number 1B. So it's not 1 and 2, it's more 1A, 1B. And that is how much I love the DS. Great handheld, so many great games, and I still think that the DS is better than 3DS. So yeah, there are two games that I wanted to mention that's not on the list, that's not on the top 10. So technically it's 12 and 11, I guess. So yeah, let's get on with it. So the first honorable mention. Now, I don't know how you're gonna take this, I guess, but I didn't actually play most of them. It's a series, but I do know the quality of the games. It's the Dragon Quest series on the DS. They actually re-released four games. So they remade Dragon Quest 4, Chapters of the Chosen, Dragon Quest 5, Hand of the Heavenly Bride, Dragon Quest 6, Realms of Revelation, and Dragon Quest 9, which is an exclusive on the DS, did not release anywhere else. Dragon Quest 9, Sentinels of the Starry Skies. So I played Dragon Quest 9. I did not finish it. I did not actually go very far. I liked it, but I just stopped one day and I did not pick it back up. So it is definitely on my to-do list. It's a very long to-do list. But the Dragon Quest games have always been quality games. Great RPGs, especially if you love JRPGs. It's highly recommended you play the Dragon Quest games. And yeah, the Dragon Quest series on the DS. You have a lot of choices. Just choose one. Any of them will do. I'll get all four, I guess. And the next honorable mention is Kirby Canvas Curse. Kirby game. But this one has a bit of a twist. You don't actually control Kirby directly, but Kirby is a ball, very cute ball. And if you tap him, he will like do a small little speed dash thingy. And you get to draw rainbow platforms. The more you draw, a meter will deplete. So it's like ink, I guess. And you have to build these platforms for Kirby to roll over and stuff like that. And then if you stun an enemy and you hit him with Kirby with the speed dash, Kirby will then absorb the ability like he always does in every other game. So it's a very cool title, very fun, very interesting, very unique. At that time when I was playing, I was like, what the fuck? I've never played anything like it before. So yeah, Kirby Canvas Curse, do check it out. If you like Kirby, if you like platformers, if you like unique games, do check out Kirby Canvas Curse. Let's start off the top 10. So at number 10 is a game called Lunar Knights. Lunar Knights is a game in the Boktai series, and the Boktai series is a popular action JRPG on the Game Boy Advance. And the special thing about it is it's made by Kojima Productions, by the way, published by Konami. So yeah, very good games. The cool thing about it is on the GBA there is like a sensor to sense the sunlight, and if you're under sunlight you're stronger, because the game is like a light versus dark kind of theme, and they took that out of the DS version, which is Lunar Knights. But they did release a special add-on which can add that feature if you want to. But basically, you control two characters, one light, one dark. It's like a top-down action RPG, very similar to games like, I guess, the Mana series, maybe the Handheld Tales series. But it's basically a top-down isometric action RPG. The light character uses guns, and the dark character uses melee attacks, I believe, and can transform into like a vampire or some sort of like being or something. It's very cool if you like action RPGs. Very easy to pick up and play. I feel they're literally dungeon crawlers. So I don't really play it for the story. It's just a very fun game to play. Lunar Knights, check it out. Now the next game at number 9 is a Dragon Quest game, but this is not part of the main games. It's Dragon Quest Heroes Rocket Slime. Now this game is really fucking rare now, and a complete in-box I've seen on eBay, let's say brand new, it can go up to like $50-$60, not including shipping yet, and used is pretty close to that number, 30, 40, sometimes 50. The thing is, you don't really see it being listed because it's so rare. It's the only Rocket Slime game to be localized and translated. I believe there is a Rocket Slime 2 and 3. Rocket Slime 2 was on the DS, was not brought to North America, did not have an English version. I think there's also a number 3. Yes, there is a number 3 that was released for the 3DS. So, Rocket Slime, you play a slime from the Dragon Quest series, and you, I think, it's called Rocket, and it's like a top-down view, and the main battles are like these 2 tank battles, like 2 huge tanks on each side of the screen, and then you like just fight, shooting cannons and stuff like that, choosing which weapons to use. It's a really cool game. I guess you can call it an action adventure RPG, basically. Any Dragon Quest fan need to play this game. It's a fucking good game. It's just too bad that it's so rare and the prices are so fucking ridiculous. I'm looking to trying to get a copy, but it's so expensive, especially with shipping internationally, because most of the copies are from the US, and I'm not from the US. I'm from Southeast Asia, which is fucking far away. Sometimes the shipping is just as much. It's almost the same price as the game, if not more. So yeah, Rocket Slime. Play it however you can. Get an emulator. Play the ROM. I'm totally for emulators and ROMs if you cannot get the game at a reasonable price, especially a game like this where it's going for like $60. Fucking nuts. But Dragon Quest Rocket Slime is fucking good. Play it if you're a Dragon Quest fan. If you like action adventures, if you like action RPGs, fucking play. It's a bloody good game. At number 8 is essentially a match 3 game. It's called Puzzle Quest Challenge of the Warlords, but it's the match 3 puzzle type game meets RPG. So whenever you go into those like whenever you fight an NPC or an enemy, it goes into that match 3 screen, and then depending on what you match and then you do what you match. I don't know what I just said. So let's say there's like 3 attack jewels that you matched. You will then do an attack, and then you can match other jewels to like replenish your mana and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure this is what I'm remembering. And then you can choose to like activate skills. So it's basically match 3 meets RPG, and it's so bloody addictive, whatever. I did not expect to like this game this much. I was like, okay, it's a match 3 game. It has RPG elements, pretty cool. And I just could not stop playing. It is so bloody addictive. It's so damn good. Especially if you like match 3. This one adds a whole new layer with the RPG elements. It's so fucking good. It also came out for the PSP. So if you have a PSP, you can check it out there. Apparently, according to Wikipedia, it says it came out for the PS2 and the PS3 as well. I do believe, it also came out on mobile, which I think is a really good. I think the handhelds are really great for this kind of games. It's bloody good. Seriously, do not judge it too fast. Puzzle Quest is amazing. Go and fucking play it. So that is my number. I can't even remember which number. Number 8. That's my number 8. And number 7, it's a rhythm game. Now the DS had quite a lot of rhythm games, and a lot of them are very, very good. The 3DS, not so much. Anyways, well, I was interested to try the Theater Rhythm, which is the Final Fantasy rhythm game on the 3DS. I don't know, it just didn't click. But Rhythm Heaven for the DS, which is my number 7 game. Number 7, right? Number 7 game. Is one of the best rhythm games I've ever played. And it's a game that really focuses into the rhythm that you can sometimes play, most of the time play with your eyes closed, not needing to look at it. And I actually feel certain challenges, they're easier when you close your eyes and just focus on the music and the sounds, because I feel sometimes it tries to distract you. So it's a rhythm game that plays like a rhythm game. It's not one of those, like, I don't know, there's a lot of rhythm games out there that doesn't feel like a rhythm game, and this one really feels like a rhythm. Great music, love the music. It's very charming music. There's no like popular mainstream stuff here. It's very charming stuff, and each challenge is like a scenario on its own. So like I believe one of the earlier challenges is you need to hit a cylinder block into a square which has a hole in it or something like that, and you have to hit it like real precise. You cannot hit it too soon and too late, stuff like that. Another one is, I think, 3 people trying to dance in sync. It's like really weird stuff. It's a very Japanese game, but it does have a English version, and it's so good, and it's so fucking good. Go and play this Rhythm Heaven. They did release like some sequels for the 3. I believe there is a sequel for the 3DS, and the Wii. The Wii got Rhythm Heaven Fever. The 3DS got Rhythm Heaven Megamix, which is, I think, pretty new. There was a GBA title that is called Rhythm Tengoku, and it's really, really good. And it's by Nintendo, so go and check it out. Rhythm Heaven is my number 7 game for the DS. At my number 6 is another puzzle game. The DS is great for all these little small, like, quirky, weird, really charming titles. And number 6 is another great entry, which is Professor Layton and the Curious Village, which is the first game, right? I think it's the first game. I'm pretty sure. You can put any of the Layton series here, any of the Layton games here. Came out, there was 4 that came out for the DS. I only finished Curious Village. I have Diabolical Box, and I also have Unwound Future. Holy shit, that was hard to say. Unwound Future. I wanted to say Unwound Future. What was I saying? Professor Layton and the Curious Village. For the DS, it was the only one I finished. I still haven't finished Diabolical Box. I'm halfway through. I haven't started the Unwound Future. But you know what the Layton games are about. It's puzzle games. It's like logic puzzles, geometrical puzzles, maths. It's just really charming. I love the music. Did they have voice acting in the first one? I think they did. Solid voice acting. It's just a great game overall. If you love puzzles, go and fucking play this game if you haven't played one of it yet. Yeah, Professor Layton and the Curious Village at number 6. Okay, so we're now down to the top 5. And at number 5 is a point-and-click adventure. And it's called Hotel Dusk Room 215. Now, I did not know what this game was about. When I started it up, I thought it was really, really cool because you play this game holding the DS like a book. I think I'll just show you. So usually you play your DS like this, right? So this one you play like this. And you hold it like a book. And I thought it was just kind of cool. I know it doesn't really, it's more of a novelty or a gimmick kind of thing, but it's a point and click adventure. You check into like a motel or something, and there's like things happening, and then it's like a mystery. It's a mystery adventure, and then you have to investigate and find out what's happening. I can't really remember the story, but I can guarantee it's really fucking good. I can guarantee that the story was really good. I really enjoyed. Because at that point I didn't really play that much I still don't really play that many point and click adventures, but Hotel Dusk really compelled me to keep playing. The story gripped me. I like the characters. I like that it's cool to hold the DS like that. I thought that was pretty cool. And yeah, Hotel Dusk Room 215. Go ahead and fucking play it. It's also pretty rare these days. On eBay, it's pretty expensive. I can't really find a good price for a complete in-box version of it. So there was a sequel that I did not play, that I did not know there was a sequel until really, really late. But the sequel is even rarer than the first one. It's so expensive. Fucking hell, these games. So yeah, Hotel Dusk. Get a ROM. Just play on a ROM, I guess. That's my number 5. Number 4. The World Ends With You is an action RPG developed by Square Enix and co-developed by with Jupiter, published by Square Enix. So it's an action RPG which has, first off, great music. It's like neo-punk Tokyo or something like that, or Akihabara or something. I don't know. I can't remember where it was set. It was in Japan, and it was like a neo-punk thing. And then you have like a clock on your arm, on your hand, which shows like when you're gonna die or something. And you attack. You control 2 characters at the same time, on the top screen and on the bottom screen. The top screen you use the directional buttons, and the bottom screen, which is the touch screen, you use the touch screen with the stylus and stuff. So it was really, really cool, very unique. The story was pretty okay, not bad or anything, but it wasn't really, it's not like super great or anything, but like it didn't make this experience any worse. But what I love most about it is the gameplay mechanic, especially the combat, and the skill system uses badges, so you can equip different badges to have different attacks. And it's really good. It's one of the games that fans have been asking for a sequel for a very long time now. They recently released it on the phones, on mobile, iOS and Android, and I believe they reprinted this. I'm not sure, but you can find a copy that is pretty cheap, like $20. Retail price is 30, but most people are selling it for 20. So it's not like rare or anything. I think it was rare at one point, and I do believe they reprinted it. I'm not too sure about that, but you can find a copy of this, which is super cool. Go and get it now. If you like action RPGs, just go and fucking play. It's an action RPG by Square, so why not, right? So The World Ends With You is my number 4. Number 3 is my favorite rhythm game of all fucking time. It's Ouendan 1 and Ouendan 2. These are Japanese games. They got an English version called Elite Beat Agents. I also played that. It was also good, but it was not as good as the Japanese one, because I do love the quirky and weird Japanese stuff. And the Japanese version had Japanese songs, which I'm a huge fan of. I like the J-pops and the J-rocks. So the Elite Beat Agents, I can't remember what kind of songs they had, but the Japanese songs in the Ouendan series are great. They're mainstream songs. So it's basically a rhythm game. So like you have to touch a point on the screen, on the touch screen, at the correct moment. You have to drag it. You have to, stuff like that. Spin a wheel. It's more of a traditional rhythm game compared to Rhythm Heaven, but it's still very good, and it is my favorite rhythm game of all time. So I do highly recommend you find it. I am pretty sure it's fucking expensive, so play it on a ROM. But a cool thing is you can play the Japanese version on whatever console you have, because it's not region locked. Because this game is not a DSi enhanced game, I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that. Do your research first. But I'm pretty sure if you import these games, you can play it on almost any of your DS systems. I'm not sure if the 3DS region locks this out. So do research that first if you plan to buy it. So Ouendan 1 and 2 is my third favorite games on the DS, and it is my favorite rhythm game of all time. Number two is it's not one game, it's 3 games. And it's very sad whenever I think about it because they're so good and I know I'll never experience them again. But it's the Castlevania series for the DS. And it was actually my first exposure to the Castlevania series. I never played any Castlevania games. I don't know why. Never played it on the PS1, never played it on the PS2. I played it on the DS. So the 3 Castlevania games on the DS is Portrait of Ruin, Dawn of Sorrow, and Order of Ecclesia. I think Portrait of Ruins came first, or was it Dawn of Sorrow? Order of Ecclesia is the newest one. They're all the old school Castlevania games, which is side-scrolling 2D, with a lot of RPG elements in it. So it's literally an RPG Castlevania game, and it's fucking amazing. I played the newer Castlevania games, that one on the PS3, Lords of Shadow, is it? The God of War clone. I mean, it was okay, I guess, but it can't beat the old school traditional side-scrolling Castlevanias. And it's very sad because I know Konami is being really, you know what they're doing. Fuck Konami. And I'm pretty sure we won't see an old school side-scrolling Castlevania game anymore. Maybe they prove me wrong, I don't know, but I'm not gonna hold my breath. But if you ever liked any like Metroidvania games, these 3 are probably the best on the DS and probably one of the best I've ever played. And they're really good. A lot of RPG mechanics. You can level up. All 3 games come with their own mechanics, so it's not like repeating mechanics. And all 3 are singular stories. They are not like following one another, so you can play whichever you want in whatever order, so you don't need to it doesn't really matter, is what I'm saying. So yes, try to find the Castlevania games. They're not that easy to find, but they're not super rare. They're not as rare as like Hotel Dusk or Dragon Quest Rocket Slime. I think Dragon Quest Rocket Slime is the rarest game on this list, so you can find it if you really want to. So check out the Castlevania games for the DS, and they are my number 2 games of all time for the DS. My number 1 games, yes, that's plural because it's more than one game. Again, it's a series on the DS, is the Phoenix Wright series. And I want to count the 4th game. So basically there were 4 games that came out. So Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Justice for All, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations, and Apollo Justice Ace Attorney, where you don't play Phoenix Wright. The first 3 games is definitely number 1 for me. The 4th game, not so much. I don't know, I just didn't feel like it was the same charm as the Phoenix Wright games. But the first 3 I consider like the main. I almost consider the 4th one like a spin-off almost, but it's not really a spin-off because it is still the main game, just you play a different character. But yeah, the Phoenix Wright games, you play a lawyer. Is a visual novel that doesn't really feel like a visual novel. So if you want to try out visual novel, Phoenix Wright games are really cool to try them out. Very funny, very great characters, really cool stories, and really cool cases that you need to solve. And the best part I love about the Phoenix Wright games is each game will probably have about 4 cases, and the last case is always connected to the first 3 cases. I'm very sure. I'm 95% sure that is the case. Case. So I really love how they just combine and link up everything. It's very quirky. It's very Japanese. It sometimes doesn't really make sense, but it's supposed to be a funny game. It's not supposed to be super serious. Amazing music. I love the music a lot. There is one of the soundtrack, one of the songs is like a very sinister song where it comes up whenever like a suspect or whatever is like gonna win the case or something, or you finally found out, oh my god, this fucker could be the killer or something. That fucking song makes my hair stand every single time. Just thinking about it is making my hair stand. So I love the games a lot, and I'm hoping to get the first 3 physical. If you have a 3DS, You can buy the first 3 games for $30 on eShop. I'm not sure how much is it in European countries, or even if it was released in the European countries. I'm sure it was. But you can buy the first 3 games. You see, even Capcom doesn't bundle the 4th game, but you can buy the first 3 games on the eShop for $30, which is fucking cheap. Totally worth full price. But sometimes you do find, whenever Capcom has a sale, it does go down to maybe 50 or 40%. Super worth it. Fucking great games. Phoenix Wright, man. The new Phoenix Wright is coming out for the 3DS a couple months later, in September or October or something. I can't wait. Too bad that the new ones are eShop exclusive, so there's no physical release. I think it would be cool to have physical games for this series, but oh well. I think for them maybe the eShop is just cheaper. So yeah, Phoenix Wright, number 1. Okay, so that's my top 10 DS games of all time. DS games / franchises. The DS is one of the best consoles I've ever had. I know I've said that many times now. You can get a DS Lite for pretty cheap. Some of these games are cheap, not all of them. If you can't afford it, just play it on an emulator or whatever, because some of these games you either can't find it or it's too expensive, like Rocket Slime. But I think the DS is a fucking amazing system with a lot of amazing games. I've only named 12 games and series. There's so many other games out there. For the best thing I love about the DS the most is there's a game for everyone. And that is why I love that console. And because I'm a gamer that likes to play a variety of games, there was just a lot of stuff to choose from. And the DS is such an amazing system. It is my first Nintendo system, believe it or not. I never grew up a Nintendo kid. I always had Sega, and then I moved over to the PlayStation. So the DS was my first Nintendo console, and it just felt really special for some reason, because I felt like I'm finally part of the Nintendo family or something. I know it's all bullshit, but still a cool feeling. Yeah, there are... And the cool thing is, the DS and the DS Lite has a slot for the GBA. And that is why I love Nintendo, because they do backwards compatibility. And and that's why I feel I'm hoping to buy one of the home consoles for maybe the Wii U, maybe the Wii, so I can play GameCube games. I don't know. I'll see. I'll see when it gets cheaper. So yeah, I'm fucking rambling right now. But basically, yes, the DS, one of the best consoles I've ever had. Go and fucking buy it. Go and play these games. If you can't, get an emulator. It's totally worth your time, right? And thank you very much for watching, listening, and subscribing. And subscribing. And I will see you next time. Bye bye.